Hey, how's it going? I'm Dan Fradenburgh, and this is Chess with Commercial Real Estate Investors. I'm a commercial real estate guy, and so is my friend Bryan Escudero. How you doing today, Bryan?
Doing well, man. Hope all is well.
No, definitely, definitely. I'm really excited to be playing this with you, and especially because so the link is now in the chat in Zoom, and we'll get started. Cool. So I start off as white. So one thing that I think is really cool about hanging out with you is you have a background in media creation and coming into commercial real estate from that side. It's not the most straightforward thing, I'd say, of course, but you've done well for yourself in your career, and so that's a lot more direct of a route than some other ways, like being involved in CRMs and web-based applications, and then getting people involved in all of this sort of stuff. So, but anyways, I guess Bryan, do you want to introduce yourself to the audience a little bit while we're picking away at this game?
Yeah, so as I freak out trying to remember the rules. Yeah, so I've been in media for about 25 years now. And when I graduated college, I took a long route to get to finish college. I I was like, what's next, right? So master's degree, or do I want to just real estate had always been kind of in the background. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just kind of dove in head first, right? Reading any number of books and podcasts, and as I did that, I always knew real estate was a great way to build wealth. Um, and we created our company First Gen Foundations because we wanted to just put the word out for people like me that were first gen investors, with some success in their careers, but not really understanding what a life of investing looked like. I had the typical 401k, Roth IRA, but that was about it. And so, it's been an interesting journey to really understand how we can help people. Part of our core is truly helping others, and
Mm-hmm.
it's the reason we formed the company. And so, got started there. Some duplexes. Started with some small multifamily. Got into crossed into the commercial real estate with 6 units, and then jumped into large multifamily syndications. And it's been great since then.
Excellent, excellent. So our first episode was released less than a week ago of this chess series. Of course, you joined me on Chance Encounters, which is featured on dandoesdeals.com. Did you get a chance to see any of the other episodes, to see some of the gimmicks and quirks of what I got on the go here?
Not yet, man. I'm on vacation coming up this week, so I'm
Okay.
excited to relive this for
Oh,
the
oh,
time being.
yeah, I have no doubt. So the thing that the other gimmick I have here, because I realize, so part of my goal of this show is to what do you want to call it? Penetrate the in the background market in our circles. So you know how there were some shows that are really meant to be playing in the background while you do your emails, run about your errands, things like that.
Yeah,
It's that's what I'm hoping, and the quirk that I added to basically keep people's attention, and covertly, if like a family is in the same room as you're watching it, there are these little sound effects that
uh-huh.
I've got every time there's a capture,
Yeah.
or if you wind up in check. And my favorite one is the one that teaches people if there's been a blunder. So if you basically give up a piece without like any benefit at all, it'll go dun dun dun. And so that's the one. That's the sound that I think most people are going to fear
Yeah.
when they
Yeah,
appear.
I'm waiting to hear it now. I started off
Right,
with
right.
with my
Well,
I
it's not.
started off with my wrong pawn for sure,
Well, that's
100%.
fine. We'll have the rematch, so that way I start with black as well. Which, like, black has a pretty big disadvantage right from the get go.
Yeah, no, but I moved it wrong. Didn't even start wrong. It's been a while.
Yeah,
You
and
know.
what I'm seeing right here, yeah, I got mate in one. Just
Yeah, you're good. You're good to go. Yeah,
but
close it out.
what you
Close it.
needed to do is you need to give yourself an escape route by moving one of
Yeah,
these two pawns. But yeah, okay,
yeah.
and then I hit rematch, and then there should be a little pop up in the bottom right hand
Yeah.
corner with a little
Yeah.
one on it. There we go. Now we can do black. So that's cool. So yeah, that's kind of the fun part. I hope that the first time somebody hears the distinct sound of somebody getting whacked in the face with a shovel. Uh, but it's not the sound that you think is the most obvious one out there for, like it's like, hey, that sounds like somebody getting whacked in the face, not with a bat, not with it. That's definitely a shovel.
There's a distinct uh, ping that comes with it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, oh, yeah, a plang. It's
That's
yeah,
funny.
that's what wins me. Oh, cool. All right, good. So, but
What
it's
else you got going on?
So these days, just like when we met up in Phoenix, the emphasis, the focus that I'm doing right now, it's for our Fund 11. It's a debt fund where we give out loans that are backed by residential real estate. And really, part of that is, I guess it's a good idea to just start from a perspective of just being as transparent as possible. You know that I'm sponsor dependent, deal sponsor dependent. In other words, I'm not the dog, I'm the tail. So I don't get to make up the rules, or like the ultimate decision of let's do this, let's not do that. I get to put in my 2 cents, and that's about it. So even though it makes a lot of sense to be going into a debt fund position instead of pursuing equity in deals, I think it's really well positioned for the needs of people these days. I think a lot of people got burned on equity plays, and they're more eager to just get their piece of the pie. And like you don't have to calculate IRRs if you're actually getting distributions and value add deals that just 18 months, 2 years before you actually get any kind of distributions. It's nonsense. So
Yeah, yeah. We're working on some debt funds now also, and so it's been an interesting time. I see what you're seeing, and we're partnering with some folks and then doing some interesting things now. Um,
but it
yeah,
sure is hard to play and pay attention
yeah,
it's
yeah.
so
That's why
difficult.
that's why everyone's so quiet when they play.
Yeah, yeah, and actually, right, and as an editor, you can also relate. One of the funniest things about starting this show is I looked at the audio feed,
Yeah,
and I see these little silent bits. I'm like, oh no, technical error! A microphone must have died. Oh no, it's just chess, and people have to think,
yeah. It's
right?
funny.
And that's why nobody's talking. So it's pretty funny.
It's funny. How many episodes are you in?
I think this might be about the 12th one. I'm sure it's at least eight. Oh, that's a dun 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 as well.
Oh
Because
yeah.
your only legal move is blocking with your queen.
I don't remember what the term is called, but there's a term where you can swap your king and your rook,
Oh,
no?
oh, to flip. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah.
I don't know how to
Uh,
do that here.
yeah. I don't know if you can do that. Oh, you mean flip the board? There's a little button on the
No, no,
right.
no, no. There's a move, and maybe in Spanish it's called, I think it was called enroque, where you can swap your king and your
Oh, castling, yeah. So with castling, you can't do that for two reasons right now. One is because you're in check, and two is because your bishop's in the way.
Okay, okay. All
Yeah.
right.
So your only legal move is blocking my queen with your queen,
But
and then
yeah,
losing on the next
and then
move
it's
to
like
take it because you have to
yeah,
get out of check, and that's it. So
yeah, it's
there you have it, right on. So one thing I'm really eager to have is regular guests. I'm more than happy to do another rematch if you still have more time, some things to share with the audience. You want to do one more, or do you want to?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay,
No, I'm
cool.
good. Yeah.
Right on. So I guess another good thing to talk about then is the different places you can really be in commercial real estate. Like I think if you're outside of real estate, it might seem strange that you have somebody who's like a physician, like an MD or something, but they're online saying, "I'm a real estate person." It's like, well, aren't you like saving lives like all day, every day? Aren't you guys busy like crazy, generating all that dry powder that everybody else in the industry depends on? But I think at the end of the day, it comes down to just who has their ear closest to the ground, right? Like that's one of the biggest ways that you can make this work, regardless of what piece of the puzzle you're providing. It's just recognizing that if you know more deal sponsors, then you're going to know how to tell a good one from a bad one, for lack of a better term. And
Yeah, I would agree with that. And so one of the things that's important to recognize in commercial real estate is um, the the ability to execute with teams. And so um, I think that as a physician or even myself as an executive, when you're working with a sponsorship team, you get massive value from other people, and the way to find your place in that puzzle is to understand what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are.
mhm.
And like understanding that one of my weaknesses is chess. I don't do this while I'm working on multifamily syndications. But in any case, the ability to add value to a team and to work with a group of people is something that translates very well in real estate and in media. I mean, we work solely with teams. Like nobody does anything alone,
Mhm.
and so it's actually a good fit. I don't know what it is to do anything alone. My life does not allow for that.
Yeah.
And so, the natural progression into multifamily syndications and being a co-GP, understanding asset management, it helped us, make some headway pretty early on. And so, I would encourage people that do want to get into syndications or into just, any JV structure, understanding what strengths you bring to the table and understanding that you do have strengths, right? Because you live life, if you're, above the age of 3, you have some version of independence. And so,
Mhm.
you can really lean into that.
Yeah. I think your only legal move is to move back to. Yeah, there you go. So there you go. It's okay. Oh yeah, you could have just taken that. So my move was kind of nasty.
Yeah.
You didn't realize it.
Nice.
But I got a pawn out of the deal. It's let's just, I'm just gonna do some. Actually, it's not as crazy as I thought. Oh yeah, I'm sure I just got two dun dun duns in a row, but they're not like really pivotal blunders, but they're definitely blunders.
I didn't see them because I had to get him out of check.
Oh yeah, you could have taken the knight with the queen, and that
Oh,
would have
yeah.
caused me
Yeah.
some extra issues for sure. Yeah. So it's funny though because like you being in media, like the other thing that jumps out to me is like I think you realize that this show is a weird idea even for me. And whenever you're doing anything creative, you run into this situation of going like, what am I doing? Like, is this even gonna work?
Yeah, and I think the idea is to just continually be tweaking the idea, right?
Yeah.
Things don't go from first to second, even third time sometimes. I mean, this is I'm having more fun than most of the other podcasts I've been on.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Displaying my inefficiencies for the world to see. Yeah.
Well, it's yeah. I totally shouldn't have done what I just did too, but yeah, like it's pretty clear I'm letting my guard down a little bit. But it's all fun and games, right?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
And that's part of what I'm up to too, because I do think that there's like a clear personality revealing aspect of chess, because like some people, like if they're gonna get really really mad, I think it's a little bit of an indicator that they just can't take a joke.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if somebody gets really, really mad after being invited to your show to play chess, yeah. But yeah, I've been my father would be ashamed. We used to play when we were kids. And he was, he played really well. I remember him and my uncles meeting up to play chess, and they'd be at the house for a couple hours, just kind of hanging out. And so it didn't stick with me, right? We were kind of outside more,
Yeah.
but you know, I've always appreciated. I've wanted to get back into it, and maybe this is the caveat. I'm about to go on vacation. I'll be around a few people that like chess, so I'm probably gonna take my chess set with me now.
All right. I love that idea. It's so my biggest thing. I mentioned it before to another. I think it was to another guest. Um, Kurt Cobain's death actually impacted me pretty strongly as a kid. And the reason is because I think the reason why he decided to end his life was because he knew that he'd have to be creative on demand, and he'd probably have to sacrifice his pride, his integrity, like whatever you want to call it, right? So I guess we do have to trade those then. So that really concerned me, and I think it's shown up in a few different aspects of my life. One of them was when I was a teenager and just starting to, get into guitar really. Okay, so let me, you know what? How do I want to do this? So that's going to go if I do that. Sure, you can have a pawn if that's what you want. Actually, yeah, that knight's really trapped in it. Yeah. So anyway, so one thing that I've discovered though, cool, I like that. One thing I've discovered though is when it comes to chess, it's only the openings that that I think I get sick of. I imagine it's a lot of other people get sick of it as well. It's like, okay, well, the opening is going to be the same basic thing, but once you get to the middle, then it's like I feel like I have a duty of care to these pieces. I've got to make sure that they survive this onslaught, and so then suddenly I'm just not sick of it anymore.
Well,
So
it's funny. It's funny. I was watching, I don't know what it was, a few years ago, some documentary or whatever. And a big part that they talked about was that these grandmasters, towards the end of them being their fully fledged experts,
mhm.
everything is so scripted up until the end, right? Like, because they
Hmm.
all know, they know what we're gonna do 15 moves out, and so they just kind of crash their first 15 or 20 moves are very scripted, and then it's like to the last few moves or seeing who doesn't really know the script, because they study the game so much.
Right, right. I'd
So
say that's accurate. Yeah, I'd say that's accurate. There's roughly 20 odd book openings, and if you don't know each of them, like they're all basically designed to have some sort of, really bad situation staring you in the face. A grandmaster would definitely have to know all of those. And not just be able to identify. It's just like basically know it's like what is the game plan in that situation? Like what are they
yeah,
really trying to do? Like how are they moving towards mate?
yeah, yeah.
So let's try that. Yeah, this is what we do. So Did you try checking out any of the chess streamers that are out now? Like the super GMs, you know, they all have YouTube channels. They all, you know, like a few of them
Yeah.
stream.
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Yeah, my favorite is the five-time U.S. champion Hikaru Nakamura. It's he's just incredible. He plays the way that I feel like I should be able to pull off, but that's just not realistic. Yeah, I'm still not seeing where my checkmate is hiding, but we'll see. I see what I can do on that one. But yeah, I'm glad we are able to get a third one in here.
Yeah.
This is fun.
It's funny, man. It's such an old game that keeps people moving for so long, you know.
Yeah,
Like things that stand the test of time always impress me.
right, right. And apparently, after move 7, there's about I think it's like 4 billion different positions. So that that'll definitely make a difference as far as replay value.
Cool.
Okay, so I'll do that first. Let's see here. It's yeah, you're doing well on this end game. That's good stuff. Okay. What if I try to do that? But that's the other thing too. Is I'd say any show that did really well, it it definitely had a really creative aspect to it. It like that's accurate, right? It like, you know, adding something where it's just that there's nothing like that out there. Like I, you know, I was thinking about Hot Ones, that spicy chicken wings YouTube
Yeah.
show. You know, where
Yeah.
people are getting more and more uncomfortable. Whereas this one, you know, it's like you definitely start disliking your opponent more and more.
Well, I think you know probably the tough part with something like this is the spaces like you mentioned, right? It's how do you fill that in properly?
Hmm.
Um, because it's tough, right? You know, I'm having fun. Um, somebody gonna stare at me lose to you
Well,
or
that's the thing. You know, you got this great big chessboard, which is in the middle of the screen. So there you go, a
yeah.
promotion to queen. That did it. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, if I mentioned like, as far as ways to reach out me, LinkedIn's definitely the best platform. That's where I spend
Yes.
most of my time because people who want to talk about business and doing deals, they tend to be on there. And on Facebook, they'd rather talk about their vacation plans and stuff like that. But Bryan, you're super duper active on LinkedIn as well. I know people can find you there, and I love the goal of First Gen Foundations because, like, well, if you look at just households that are accredited, you know, it's roughly around 18%.
Yep.
And so, you know, without using my fingers, that means 81% of households, you know, they don't come from wealth. They don't have a whole
Yep.
lot, you know, and so being the one in your family who changes that for your descendants, your children and grandchildren, whatever, I think it's so important. But if people want to reach out, what are the best ways, Brian?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, LinkedIn is great. FirstGenFoundations.com. We're on Instagram at First Gen Foundations, and we actually just opened up our First Gen Investors group on Facebook. Because one of the things that we want to make sure is that we're reaching people where they are. and that 81% tends to hang out a little bit more on Facebook. And so, we're just trying to get the message out. So, a lot of good stuff going on. There's still a lot of opportunities. One of the things that I would encourage people is to stare at their retirement, right? Don't get scared of it. Look that ugly animal in the eye, and you make a plan and you attack it. So that's what we're helping people do.
Absolutely. And if I'm going to use my normal dark humor, it's not even that funny. It's like how many accredited librarians do you think there are? The fact
Yep.
is like you have to like it's so easy to be hopeful that your retirement is going to work itself out, but taking such a terrible gamble when you do.
Yep.
You need to figure out, get those financial goals figured out and just divide it out. In other words,
Yep.
figure out how do I have to do per month? How can I get, like, for example, learn what an equity multiple is, because it
Yep.
means, if you put in like, like 10K, 50K, 100K, whatever, how long does it take before you have double? And then how do you, make it so that your lifestyle means that you're spending less than you make, so that you're
Yep.
providing for when you won't be able to provide for yourself anymore. It's so
Yeah, I mean
important.
it's huge and it's important and it's fearful and it's there's so many reasons to not, but the reality is it's coming. And so we talk about rule of 72, we talk about syndications, we talk about just doing small multifamily or small single family homes by yourself. The idea is for us to just truly educate people, and there are people that will invest with us, but that's not the sole goal of what we're doing. And so we're coming from a place of seeing what our family was able to do in one generation. We're just trying to push that forward to the next one.
I love it. I love it. Thanks again for joining. And for you
Thank
in
you
the
very much.
audience, don't forget to hit the downright hideous subscribe button, because the one that it replaces with, it's way nicer. People won't judge you. All right. Okay. Let's be honest. I want people to click on the button so that YouTube pays for these videos instead of me. And the trade off to you is my videos may show up on your list of suggestions. You can go ahead and ignore them, or just have them playing in the background while you're running about doing your errands, on your commute, or don't pay too close attention to the chessboard when you should be driving, of course. But if you're doing your email, that's a much safer activity to have this playing in the background. But I just really appreciate you spending the time with me. Just like Brian, I appreciate you joining me today. This is always a pleasure.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Awesome. Thanks.